Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. I'm Chris Horner, and today's first edition of the 2024 Butterfly Effect, I want to cover the Portuguese race Figueira Champions Classic. This race has only gone on one season before this year, but now Remco Evenepoel's here, so I want to cover it. We want to see just what the Belgium kid's capable of doing in this race that was supposed to be about 215 kilometers, but they knocked it back to about 192 because of the stormy weather that they had. So a little bit later start to the race than normally predicted, but they still have 3 finishing circuits with 2 climbs. First climb's category 1, it's about 2.3 kilometers at 7.8.9%, so it's a steep one. Second climb under a K at 1.8 at about 7.2, 7.3%. So the climbs aren't crazy long. More like a classic course when you look at each lap being about 30 kilometers with 2 solid category climbs on there of a Cat 1 and Cat 2. So it's a good race here for Remco Evenepoel to open up his legs. We start looking at the other teams here. Alpecin de Koenig's here. EF Education's here. Movistar, the Spanish team, well, they're here for sure. You know that. And then we see Tudor and we see UAE Team Emirates here. So a solid 6 teams at least when we're talking about quality of teams here at the Figueira Champions Classic. Now, before we went to bed last night, my boy Garrett, you know, he does the editing here, and he goes, well, it's not going to be a hard race to call for our first Butterfly Effect because Remco's just going to go off with about 30K to go. And I looked down and I said, okay, we all know that's possible, but come on. It's the first race of the season. If I took you back to his early season races in 2023, we go back to the stage race at San Juan where he was going up to Alto de Colorado and he threw in a massive attack. But if you watch the tactics of the team, when Remco Evenepoel threw in that attack, we'll see that was Angel Lopez who ended up winning the stage, but his team rode a little bit on the front. And then, of course, Ineos rode a little bit on the front, and they had Filippo Ganna. So you had Remco Evenepoel going solo up the last big climb there at San Juan on stage 5, I believe it was. And you have him going solo, but you have 2 teams back there that are kind of working together to keep Remco Evenepoel at bay. He ends up getting caught, blows up, kind of recovers a little bit and finishes 7th, but doesn't recover enough to win the stage, right? Because I already told you, Angel Lopez ended up winning that stage for the small Colombian team of Medellin. Now, we fast forward into the 2023 season. You got to go all the way basically to Liège-Bastogne-Liège before you see where there's the race results where Remco Evenepoel really goes solo against a magnificent field at Liège-Bastogne-Liège, all the way from La Redoute, where it was Tom Pidcock trying to bring him back and couldn't bring him back. Now, if you watched that year's Butterfly Effect, I told you Tom Pidcock was a knucklehead, and so were all the other teams there. Why were you trying to chase Remco Evenepoel instead of just doing what happened back there on that stage 5 of San Juan where the teams worked together and tried to bring the Belgium back a little bit before you send your GC main fighters up there? At Liège-Bastogne-Liège, when Tom Pidcock attacked, he still had Ineos riders in the group, and of course so did all the other teams. So if they worked together and put 5, 7 guys on the front, maybe you got a shot of bringing back Remco Evenepoel when you're attacking all the way from La Redoute. Okay, well, the cameras come on here, and like I said, 192 kilometers of racing, but the cameras aren't going to come on until we see 7 riders in the front break, all small teams, and we see the peloton, they're almost caught. We look at the peloton, who's on the front. Soudal Quick-Step's on the front, and they got 2 leaders here, Remco Evenepoel, but they got Mikel Landa here too. Solid depth of climber backing up Mikel Landa and Remco Evenepoel because James Knotts is here, Vervaeke's here, Cattaneo, my old teammate from Lampre, he's here and riding strong. So you know they want to bring this in to one of the final climbs and then start launching Remco Evenepoel. Like my boy said, Garrett, probably 30K out. I thought it was a little bit early still, but we'll see what happens when the racing gets going. Either way, the group of 7's almost caught. Peloton's going full force back there. And you see EF Education's being a little bit active on the front too. Now, with everything going back together as the breakaway is getting brought in with still 3 laps left on this finishing circuit, we're going to go in under two laps to go. But if I back the film up just a hair, you see that it's Soudal Quick-Step on the front that's drilling it through the coast. And then they'll come into the final finish line there with 2 laps to go with Soudal Quick-Step drilling it. Now, after they cross the finish line with 2 laps to go, we see Isaac Del Toro, UAE Team Emirates, at the back of the field. Now guys, I don't know what he's doing back there, but if I back the cameras all the way back up to the Tour Down Under, I can tell you for sure that kid was riding at the back all the time and never in good position, but then he'd be able to ride all the way around the peloton there at Tour Down Under, get himself back up to the front. And let me remind you, he won a stage there, put the race leader's yellow jersey on, and then still finished solid in the general classification when it was all said and done. But I told you guys on Beyond the Coverage, his placing of starting the back and riding to the front is a nightmare when you get over to the European peloton. Well, we're 2 laps to go, like I told you. Now we're coming down the coast, it's going curb to curb, but let me back it just up again to Del Toro. Why was he back there? That's what I asked myself, right? Well, he's back there what looked like to me to be cleaning his sunglasses. You see his arms right there, he's got his sunglasses, grabbing his jersey, he's cleaning his sunglasses, popping it on his head as we're getting ready to start the climb. Now, I already told you, Pseudo Quickstep's been on the front, lined out before we came into 2 laps to go. Doesn't take a real bright scientist, certainly not NASA-style scientist, to understand that Pseudo Quickstep's Remco Evenepoel could go from any distance. Garrett, when did you tell me he would go?
30K.
30K to go. Well, we're coming up to just over 50K to go. As the climb's starting, it's going curb to curb just before on the coast there, and you see it's crazy chaos. When we look at the helicopter angle, UAE team members, they got a couple guys a little further back on the right side. That's Mark Hirschi and Mugado. Now, Mugado is the Portuguese rider, and he's a new under-23 rider that's just coming into racing here first year with UAE team members. 20 years of age. He's up there, but still a little bit out of place. They'll come into the right turn, and we'll see Pseudo Quickstep take the front right away going up this climb, and they're drilling it with Vervaeke. Vervaeke is on the front going 100%. He'll look back over his shoulder, pull off hard to the left, and then his job's done. Next on front is going to be James Knox. Just behind him, my old teammate Cattaneo sitting there, and Remco Evenepoel's in fabulous position. When we go a little bit further up the hill, we get a camera angle from the helicopter. We see 2 UAE team members. That's Mugado, the Portuguese rider, and Mark Hirschi. Mark Hirschi's a legend, but his form is up and down all the time, so we don't know where he is today. But we know from the helicopter angle when they're about 30th position back that these 2 UAE team members riders are in trouble. And of course, Isaac Del Toro, he's not even in the picture because he needed to have some clean sunglasses before the climb started proper. Now up front, we see Cattaneo. His legs have had it. He can't do the last pull, but he's been pulling all day. So he pulls off of James Knox's wheel and goes hard left. And then Remco Evenepoel closes up the gap there onto James Knox. Now at this moment, when you see there's only 2 riders from Pseudo Quickstep off the front, because Mikel Landa was a little bit further back, maybe 25th if I back the camera up. Either way, he's not at the front, so James Knox is going full percent. Now, you know if James is going full, that means Remco Evenepoel's not waiting for my boy Garrett's 30 kilometers to go mark. My boy was off by 20 because he's getting ready to go at 50. Back to film up just a hair before the attack here from Remco Evenepoel. Let me back it up. What happened to the UAE Team Emirates? Well, Mark Hirschi and Mugado, he was going full gas trying to get up to the front because it was panic time non-stop as the climb left the final right turn there while we saw Matteo Cattaneo dropping off hard left. The UAE Team Emirates riders were going full gas from 25th spot back, and now they've gotten themselves to the front, but Remco Evenepoel is getting ready to hit the turbo button. He hits turbo, takes off. James saw it. EF Education. We see him there. He can't do anything about it. Mark Hirschi and his teammate from UAE Team Emirates, they can't do anything about it. So Antonio's going to back off. And then all of a sudden, the gap to Remco Evenepoel explodes immediately. Now, what's happening back there when we look at the field? Because when we go up front there to, of course, to Remco Evenepoel, he's standing up on the pedals looking back over his shoulder, and he knows he's got a gap. When we go back to the group, we see there's a little bit of chaos back there. There's not a whole lot's happening. The group's about 25, 30 riders, and then all of a sudden, UAE team members, Isaac Del Toro, he's going to throw in an attack and start going solo. Now, he waited 10 minutes at least. They didn't have the kilometer marks up top. They only had time. So he waited a solid 10 minutes after Remco Evenepoel's gap is up to about 45 seconds. Isaac Del Toro's trying to go across solo. Guys, this is the first big big knucklehead move. The small knucklehead move was before the climb started, Isaac Del Toro cleaning his sunglasses, and of course his two teammates coming out of the last corner before the climb starts proper in about 25th spot. That was too far back, but of course maybe they couldn't do anything about it when there's only two of them at the front because Isaac Del Toro had to have his sunglasses cleaned back there. Either way, Isaac Del Toro believes he can close the gap up to Remco Evenepoel. Now this kid's only 20, so you got to give him a little bit of leeway, but he's still a knucklehead and a big-time knucklehead. Because when we go back and look at the group, he's got at least two teammates back there. Movistar's got guys on the front. Alpecin Decunic's got guys on the front. EF Education are chasing like crazy. And guess what? UAE Team Emirates are wasting their bullets with Isaac in between at about 45 seconds there to Remco Evenepoel, who doesn't look like he's making any gains real quickly on the Belgium kid. So he should probably sit up and go back and start pulling on the front. Now instead, Isaac Del Toro keeps going. When we cross with 1 lap to go, 30 kilometers total, Remco Evenepoel's got about a minute gap on Isaac Del Toro and a minute and 30 on the peloton behind. Isaac Del Toro, as the climb starts right after 1 lap to go, you see him stand up, look back, and he sits up and eases off the pedals, and he's caught from the group behind. Now, he's not only caught, but he's completely done. I never saw him touch the front. He did about 22 minutes on his own off the front here of all wasted time when he could have been back there chasing with EF Education, Alpecin Decunic, and of course Movistar, who were back there chasing too. Now, what happens next? How come they can't catch Remco Evenepoel, who's a minute and a half up the road? Well, we're going to see that it's Movistar throwing in the next attack. This is Sanchez. Peleo Sanchez, he won a stage in Mallorca. Now he thinks he can still catch up to Remco Evenepoel, or possibly he wants to race for second only. I don't know what it is, but if you're racing for second, you're a knucklehead. If you thought you can catch Remco Evenepoel, you're an even bigger knucklehead, so it's not a game changer in my mind which one you want to pick. But he's up there solo when he's got at least two teammates in the group back there chasing of about 20 guys. So now Movistar's not chasing back there, but of course EF Education, Alpecin Decunic is, while Remco Evenepoel's going solo up the road. Of course, as we come into the finish, Remco Evenepoel knows he's got the race won with a few hundred meters to go. He's going to sit up with 50 meters to go. He's going to pull out the telephone. He's going to do a little ringing, and he's going to slam it down. Arms are going to go wide, and then they're going to go high with a double fist bump as he wins his first bike race in 2024 by a magnificent margin here of well over a minute's time on the peloton behind. And any time he would have lost would have just been sitting up making his phone call to tell everybody in the European professional peloton that the Belgium kid is looking forward to the July's Tour de France. Behind, there's a little bit of chaos in the sprint, about 20-25 guys back there. Two-Door Cycling let it in as they're trying to lead out Mayhofer there in second wheel. Then they're going to get swarmed by Alpecin Decunic. Alpecin Decunic want, of course, do everything they can to wrap up as many points as possible, but they can't hold the surge from behind, so it's Intermarché that'll take second. That's Vito Barre, the Belgian rider. And then third's going to be Velasco from Astana that'll round out the podium here on today's first opening race for Remco Evenepoel after he dominated everybody on today's Figura Champions Classic. Now, guys, we're going to have Algarve coming next. I'm not going to be able to cover it because I got other work that I have to do this next week for the whole week, so you won't see me back for about 2 weeks. But Remco Evenepoel is clearly back on fine form here in 2024 season. So, of course, the other three leaders, like I told you before, this is the perfect time for Remco Evenepoel to be shining early because you don't have Primoz Roglic, you don't have Jonas Vingegaard, and you don't have Tadej Pogačar here. And you got at least two knuckle teams in UAE Team Emirates attacking solo and Movistar following it up with the attack from Sanchez. Either way, both of those two teams are big-time knuckleheads. If they had just gone to the front, started pulling steady, maybe, okay, probably you don't bring them back, but maybe you bring them back and at least make it a dogfight all the way to the line. Instead, UAE Team Emirates and Movistar, you get the first butterfly effect knuckleheads of the award here for the 2024 season start of the butterfly effect. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next edition of the Butterfly Effect, maybe about 2 weeks from now, but I'll catch you on Beyond the Coverage or something there like that before then. Like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next edition real soon.